The question is that Maharishi has said many times in these conferences and in his books that the nature of life is bliss. However, last week, Maharishi made a surprising comment. He said that the two fundamental values of consciousness, silence and dynamism, that fear played a central role in their interaction. Would Maharishi please comment on this apparent contradiction? What role does fear play in creation, and how does it relate to the idea that the nature of life is bliss?
It's a very beautiful question. The answer is more beautiful than the question. The answer is that the total natural law has to be lively in every grain of creation, in every particle of creation. Total natural law. And when we say total natural law, means all the knowledge. And when we say all the knowledge, then knowledge of silence, different degrees of silence, and knowledge of dynamism, different degrees of dynamism. So all the different degrees of dynamism, all the different degrees of silence, both have to be lively in every grain of creation. Now, this reality within the nature of every grain of creation requires the two opposite qualities, silence and dynamism, to be in every grain of creation, here, there, and everywhere. So the picture is that infinite silence and infinite dynamism, even though they are opposite qualities, but they are there in every grain of creation, and that is how every grain of creation, infinite grains of creation, constitute infinity. So infinity to be lively in terms of total natural law, the two opposite qualities have to be together. Two opposite qualities have to be together. Two opposite qualities have to be together. And this togetherness alone will be the basis of all life. Unity of all diversity. Unity of all diversity. Unity of all diversity. Universe. Even this English phrase, unified versity, differences, all the differences, but in a unified manner. All the differences in a unified manner, this is the requirement of that agency which is to administer the infinitely diverse universe. Now, what we know about the infinitely diverse universe, the little that we know from the field of science, and everything we know about it in the field of Vedic science, Vedic terminology, what we know about it is that it is basis of everything. It's the basis of everything. This infinite diversity infinite unity, infinite silence, infinite dynamism. They are all together. And in their togetherness, they construct creation, they administer creation, they make creation evolve. What we have is ever-expanding universe. Ever-expanding universe. So for the ever-expanding universe to be administered, the administrator has to be in every grain of creation. At the same time, he has to be in the total infinity of creation. Total infinity of creation and total infinity of that which constructs creation. What constructs creation? Point. So this is the situation about the reality of intelligence, which is not only at the basis, but even on the surface, all levels of creation, intelligence, all levels of creation, consciousness. So by requirement, it has to be unmanifest. And these two, these two opposite values naturally come together, making everyone hide the other. Silence hides dynamism, dynamism hides silence. In the Vedic language, it is called Chhandas. Chhandas is a quality of hiding. Silence, when comes together with dynamism, then silence hides dynamism, dynamism hides silence. So there is a covering created in the unity of both. This covering which hides silence, which hides dynamism, this covering maintains the transcendental consciousness as a separate level of reality from the relative level of reality. Here is the partition. Transcendental is that thing which is two things of opposite characters, but in their togetherness, silence and dynamism, silence and dynamism. That is transcendental consciousness. Transcendental consciousness is something, what we can say? We can say that when our awareness opens to this field of transcendental consciousness, it has already pierced through the covering that hides the two. And when it pierces through the covering that hides silence and dynamism in a unified state, then it functions, the example will be like a lamp at the door. This is the whole Nyaya system of knowledge in the Vedic literature. The knowledge of the junction point. Nyaya, that junction point. You will put the lamp at the door, it will bring light inside the room and outside the room. So junction point. Junction point is what is that which hides this and which hides that. But at the junction point, it's a very fine point. Practice is needed only to make this fine demarcation between the silence and dynamism a visual reality. Fine reality, very fine reality. Lamp at the door. There is a section of knowledge which is called Nyaya Darshan, which is translated rightly or wrongly as logic. Logic will prove this thing, and then simultaneously the opposite thing, like that. So that junction point of hiding silence and dynamism both, that is Chhandas. Hiding Chhandas. When we look into the nature of Atma, then this becomes so clear, very clear. Experience makes it very clear, and understanding in terms of the Vedic literature, it makes it so very obvious, the surface level of reality. You see silence, this, you see dynamism, this silence and this silence and dynamism. The junction point is the transcendental consciousness. That is samadhi. That is yoga. That is unified level of reality. Unified level of reality means individual and cosmic both. Infinity and finite both. Silence and dynamism both. Silence and dynamism both. It's a very delightful experience, and it is the practice. You know that phrase, practice makes a man perfect? Because this experience is so fine, one has to be going through this experience over and over again, and then one becomes at home with it. Being at home with it means total natural law is lively in our awareness. When total natural law is lively in our awareness, then what happens? Every thought is supported by total natural law. And total natural law, we say, will of God. Same thing. So, nothing is impossible for the will of God. Nothing is impossible for total natural law. And that is why education should be such that the individual awareness opens itself to this inner reality of consciousness. That's why we say consciousness-based education. Consciousness-based education. These words are very, very realistic on a very, very concrete level.